Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Howling podcast. I'm Chad Berger. I'm going to host tonight. You can find me on Twitter at Chad Berger. My friend Mark Wendt is here with us as well. Mark, go ahead and introduce us to your Twitter handle as well. Mark, what is your Twitter handle?
Sorry, at WDiamond605.
All right. And our third host, Jordan Decker, is unable to join us tonight. Please at him on Twitter. He's a very lonely man. At JD60PE5. At JD60OP5. Little Midwestern humor there on his Twitter handle. You can also follow the show's Twitter handle at Howl with Us 3, at Howl with Us 3. And follow along with different updates that we have throughout the week. Some fun stuff that we're going to talk about in a little bit that we are going to introduce this week. But follow along. If you don't give us a follow already, just make sure to give us a follow there. Also, go ahead and smash the subscribe button on YouTube. I think that's what the kids say nowadays. Smash that like and subscribe button because we want to make sure we are getting all that great content out to you. So, Mark,
hit the bell too, I think is something they say.
Okay, hit the bell too. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know you do.
Make it happen, people. Make it happen. All right. Let's see right now if I don't see if we have any viewers so far, but we are live tonight on YouTube. So if you are following along on YouTube, go ahead and give us some comments throughout the show, and we'll try to show those on screen so that we are ready to go. I will say that the content and the information, any opinions that are expressed on this program are the opinions of Mark and myself, and they are not the opinions of the University of South Dakota or the USD Athletic Department. They are just the opinions of two guys on the internet. If you don't like them, don't watch. All right. Next, we'll go ahead and bring up our sponsor. Our sponsor is the Wakanda Peach Company. Follow the Wakanda Peach Company on Twitter or X at Wakanda Peach. The Wakanda Peach Company is the place where you can get all of your peach needs satisfied in and around Wakanda, South Dakota. You can see that Mark and I are both representing the Wakanda Peach Company with some swag. We both got the hats on tonight. I try to wear mine out in public, so you can see a few pictures of me wearing the Wakanda Peach Company swag out in public. The first one is at some USD volleyball, and the second one I was at a high school football game wearing that as well. So good apparel to wear out and about. If you are interested in the apparel, contact Mark. Otherwise, just find us at a game or something and take a selfie with us and post it on the Twitter. Any comments on that, Mark?
I do have a box of T-shirts, and when it gets chilly, I do also have a box of hoodies we can give away. There'll be no peaches this year. Late freeze did us in, but we got swag.
Yeah, well, looking forward to that. I'm interested to find out how I can get one of these hoodies. So, yeah, interesting way to go. Let's go ahead and bring up the rundown for the show. The first thing we're going to do is start with soccer. So, Mark, give us the quick soccer update for this week.
Yes, we opened Summit League play at St. Thomas. The good news is our 3-game losing streak is over. The 6-game winless streak lives on, however, as we ended the match in a 0-0 draw. So let me quickly give you the goal scorer rundown.
All right, and that's it. So next up for the Yotes, October 3rd, that's Thursday, hosting Omaha at 6 p.m. And then October 6th, next Sunday, hosting Kansas City. The Roos will be at home, and that will be a 1 o'clock kickoff. Is that what we call it?
I think so. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. So 1 o'clock start scheduled for that one next Sunday. So a couple home matches coming up this week for soccer. Make sure to get out and support the Yotes. All right. Well, next we're going to move on to football. Football was at home this week, and got a couple action shots of the atmosphere in the dome on Saturday. You can see Mark, Jordan, and I all having a great time here at the game. Jordan just chugging beverage. I mean, that guy was unbelievable, on fire, chugging beverages everywhere. Got the band in the background. Just amazing what he was able to do. But it was a good time had by all. And then any comments on that, Mark?
I was just gonna say, I don't know if Jordan remembers, but it was a great time. It was a
great time. Yeah, we're glad that we could take these pictures with him to commemorate some of those moments. So, final outcome of the game: USD finishes on top, 42-13 over. They were at the time ranked Southern Illinois. Southern Illinois drops to 2-3 on the season, while South Dakota improves to 3-1. 1-0 in the conference season, so a big start for the conference season. The Yotes did get off to just a fast start, 14-0 in the first quarter. Before we even really got settled in, the Yotes had already scored a touchdown and really impressed us with the speed and ability to move the football on the day. 21 points in the second quarter. Southern Illinois was able to squeak in a touchdown there, so it was a 35-7 halftime lead. And at that point, it was pretty much academic. Southern Illinois, the Salukis put up 6 in the third, but the Yotes sealed it off with a Travis Tice touchdown in the fourth for a final score of 42-13. Mark, did you have any comments about this scoring summary here, or the game summary?
The first quarter into the second was as flawless as I've seen the Coyotes play in a very long time. Like that was a runaway train, and there was no stopping us in all phases. The passing game got going. We hit some long passes. The running game was amazing, and the defense has done what it's done all year. I was a little surprised at how easily we scored there in that first half. And put the game away. Really, it was over. Really, really impressive.
So the tailgate party was pretty decent, correct?
Yeah, it was a good crowd.
Before the game, good crowd. It was hot. And we thought there might be a pretty decent showing for crowd, but the attendance number here is 6,706. Anything to add on that?
Yeah, I mean that's a decent number. I mean, obviously, every game I would love it to be whatever the sellout number is nowadays, 9,000. If I was 9,000 people, it'd be sold out every game. Some people like to tweet at me when the game goes on TV and they see empty seats. I would just say that I'm there, my friends are there, and I'm not responsible for 9,000 people showing up. So you can at me, but I'm not responding. So,
yeah, you can't make 9,000 people do something.
Yeah, I wish I could.
And the way the game kind of turned out, it was a quick start by the Coyotes, and at halftime, the numbers really started to go down in the stadium. For obvious purposes or for obvious reasons, it was a hot day outside. The beer's much cheaper at other places, and the Yotes pretty much had it in hand by the midway point of the game. So,
yeah, never really felt threatened that we were in danger of losing the game. Obviously, the way it started out. So,
yeah. And here's the scoring summary that we talked about. The Yotes getting off to a quick start right away. Travis Tice, quick 1-yard touchdown run there. Charles Pierre Jr. with the 8-yard run. And then second quarter kind of started out. I actually was down. So where we were sitting, it was pretty high up, and I was down taking a pit stop at some point, and I saw this one from just about the bottom row, the first row there. But JJ Galbraith, friend of the show, it took off and caught it was an 80-yard pass is what it ended up being. It was probably about a 30-yard pass, but JJ just turned on the jets and outran the entire Saluki defense for an 80-yard touchdown.
Yeah. Out making distance, like they got further and further away. It was really impressive, the speed he showed there on that play. That was incredible.
And then another touchdown, another Pierre Jr. touchdown put the Yotes up 28-0. And, at that point, the outcome was academic, as we mentioned earlier. Some key stats from the game. Mark, I'll let you kind of go through these a little bit.
Yeah, like we've seen in the previous games, the rushing game is legit and it's lethal, and multiple guys can make hay there. And Saturday was no different with Travis going for 147 and 2 touchdowns, and a few of those runs, the old bulldozer Travis Tice was in full effect, running over people instead of around them. Charles Pierre Jr., another 100-yard rusher, speed kills, 124 on just 15 carries and 2 more touchdowns. And then we finally got the passing game going, even though Aiden didn't throw it very many times, 17 times, but he got 247 yards out of it and 2 touchdowns. And we mentioned the 80-yarder to JJ Galbraith, and the one to Cron Adams, another speed kills kind of guy. Aiden couldn't throw it as far as he needed to on that. Cron had a few steps and he had to come back for the ball, but it good luck, cornerback or safety, whoever it was back there, because he had no chance.
Yeah, that was my biggest takeaway. Was I was very impressed by the speed of the Coyotes. The only other game I've been to this season was the Northern game, and I missed the Drake game, but that Drake league is a little bit down. I wasn't quite sure. I had tacos with John Thayer on Tuesday, and I kind of asked, hey, is USD that good or is Drake not that good? And he said, well, I think it was a little bit of both, but I think we saw on Saturday that, the Coyotes are for real and have some top-notch, high-end speed on that offensive end.
Yeah, there's not one or two guys. It's a handful, if not more than that, just at every position, really. And we should shout out the O-line. Like we say, the running game's been solid all year long, and it was dominant on Saturday. So shout out to the big dudes.
Yeah, absolutely. Offensive line, we'll give you a shout out up here. So good job. I know I watch a couple of them. I'm a Harrisburg graduate, and so I'm always interested. The Larsons in there, and Joe Cotton is also related to a friend of mine. So lots of good offensive line play up there, and I thought it was just a dominant performance by the Yotes.
Yeah, so I mean, what Southern Illinois was 17th in, I think, the poll they
were ranked number 17. Yeah,
and I know they had injuries, but I mean, if you would have told me that we were gonna just dominate the way we did, I mean, like I say, I was a little surprised, happily so. But looks like we got a squad.
So coming up on the Yotes schedule, October 5th, this next Saturday, USD will be at Murray State. Murray State was receiving votes in the last poll. I didn't see their outcome from this past weekend.
They got trucked. They went to UND and lost 72 to something. So
okay.
I don't think they'll be receiving votes.
Well, they may not be, but that's still a trip out there to Murray, Kentucky.
First one we make out that way. So, yeah.
Yep. So we'll see how that goes. Can't have this be a letdown game or a trap game or anything like that. Got to make sure to get the win. And then the following week, October 12th, is Dakota Days. So make sure to get tickets for that. Go to goyotes.com. Get your tickets. We need to see more than 6,700 people in the stands for that one.
Yeah. Let's figure out what capacity is and have that be the number.
All right. Anything else to discuss with football here, Mark?
I would just say beyond, obviously, UNI comes in for the Dakota Days game. UNI always plays us tough. But looking at the schedule beyond that, we got to go to Youngstown, to Brookings. We get the Sycamores at home, to North Dakota, home with the Bison. It doesn't get any easier, if not harder, from where we've been. So, like you say, we can't have letdowns, and there's no off weeks that I can see coming up. So,
all right. Well, let's go ahead and move on next to the volleyball update or recap from the past week. Volleyball went 2-0 in the past week. Traveled out to Denver on Thursday and ended up with a 3-0 win, 25-22, 25-22, 25-21. One of the things I know, Mark, you and I were both watching on the Summit League Network for the Thursday night matchup, and there were not many people in attendance on Thursday night.
Which is surprising. Like, I feel like that's kind of a rivalry between us and Denver. I was a little shocked at how many empty seats there were.
You know, the Yotes got out to big leads in both of the first two sets, and then Denver really made comebacks there at the end of those and made it kind of interesting. I know we were kind of texting each other back and forth, and it's like, why do I feel nervous right now? You know, those type of things. But
yeah.
You know, ultimately the young Yotes were able to pull through in the end and seal the deal on both of those two. And then the third set was pretty much, I mean, it was 25-21, but at that point it was, you know, pretty much in hand for the Yotes, I think.
Yeah, they were in control most of that match, really. You know, they gave up some big leads, like you say, to make it close at the end, but it was, I don't know. We were nervous. They probably weren't because they were in full control.
It's interesting how you watch, like when you watch a game like this, we're sitting at home and we're sweating bullets. We're like, oh, how can we do that? And then you watch the girls out on the court and they're just like dancing and, you know, doing,
right.
You know, having fun out there. Just one of those deals. So
right.
Well, then after that big 3-0 win on Thursday night, the Yotes traveled down to Oklahoma to take on the Oral Roberts team, and this one was not close at all on Saturday. There were no moments where anything was in doubt. This one, 25-17, 25-8, 25-16. The attendance at this one was even lighter, and according to the cameras on the Summit League Network, it looked like there were 0 people in attendance because they never showed a person in the crowd, but they did have 302 listed for the attendance for that one.
Yes, I think there was maybe 3 students down in the front row there, and the mascot. So can we give them 4? I didn't hear them or see them, so I'm just saying.
and USD travels really well, so I'm guessing that USD may have had more fans at that one than Oral Roberts did. It was probably not great.
Yeah, they've been on the struggle bus for a number of years, so yeah, it looked tough.
So a couple things that I noticed watching the matches over the weekend here, you know, over the past few weeks, you know, the Iowa tournament and the USD, the South Dakota Classic, we had kind of seen the emergence of Lauren Medic as, you know, becoming an up and coming star, but I felt like she had a little bit of an off week this past week.
Yeah, you're right. I think in both matches, Thursday and Saturday, she was in for hitting percentage. It was both in the negatives for both games. And Leanne made the change. I don't think she played the front row as much, and she still played the back row because she's solid back there as well, serving and otherwise. But yeah, I'm not worried about her as a player. Just a freshman bump in the road.
Right, exactly. But one of the big things out of the week was Cheyenne Halady stepped up big time in both of the matches on Thursday and then again on Saturday. Just crushing the ball, making huge blocks. We got another Matumbo finger wag. Just playing spectacular front row for the Yotes. And then Kylan Seelock looked really solid as well up there. And then the 2 freshman middles. I mean, can't say enough about them. You got Audrey Nelson, freshman from Madison, South Dakota. You've got Morgan Bodie from Papillion, Nebraska. Just both of them are just doing spectacular. And then Samantha Laird came in and did some good work in the front row as well. So some good things happening for the Yotes.
Yeah, they looked every bit the part. So
if you're watching out on YouTube and you want to chime in, go ahead and hit us up in the comments, and we might be able to share those on screen as well. We did try something new on Thursday night, Mark, and we're going to try to incorporate this during the rest of the season for Thursday road matches only road games. Join us, the Howl with Us 3 Twitter account. We're going to start a Twitter or X Spaces during the game. Just follow us on Twitter and we'll get that opened up. And then we're just going to talk about it like we're all in the same room and, everyone can watch. And one of the interesting things we figured out the other night was, Mark, your feed was about 4 seconds ahead of mine. So we got to the very end and we did the USD, and you were yelling USD and I was behind you a little bit.
It was fun.
It was fun.
Be sure to join us. It's not going to be scripted or formal in any way. Just a bunch of people rooting on the Oats from afar.
Yeah, join in. I mean, maybe Jordan will even log in. We don't even know. He's a busy guy. I don't know. We can maybe see. Hopefully next week we'll have some pictures like this of Jordan at volleyball, because this coming week volleyball is going to be at home. Pretty exciting stuff. So after hitting the road at Denver and Oral Roberts the past weekend, volleyball's coming home to the SCSC, Sanford Coyote Sports Center, to host St. Thomas on Thursday, October 3rd. That will be at 7 p.m. And St. Thomas is off to a little bit of a rough start in the Summit League. They're 0-2 right now. But that should still be a good, home tune-up match here, to get the Yotes ready for the conference, in the conference play season. Because then Saturday, Omaha comes to town. And Omaha is solid.
Correct.
Nice analysis. He's not the best color guy in the business for nothing, folks. So...
and actually, I'm a little surprised by St. Thomas. I thought they had a solid preseason, as Leanne would say. Sweeping Iowa, but like you say, they're off to a little bit of a rough start. They lost 3-1 to North Dakota State at home, and followed that up with a road loss at Omaha. Omaha beat them 3-0. So
now, having said that, there's 5 teams that are undefeated right now in the conference. So obviously the Yotes 2-0, South Dakota State 2-0, and then North Dakota State is 1-0, Kansas City's 1-0, and Omaha's 2-0. So there's those 5 teams, maybe that going into the season, that's kind of what we expected. Other than maybe the Jackrabbits, I think they're kind of overachieving so far. So we'll see what happens to them when they get into the season.
As we watched the Oral Roberts game on tape delay, but it took the Jacks 5 sets to get the Oral Roberts defeated. So
yeah,
take that for what it's worth. But
right. So yeah, once we get into the conference season and these teams all start playing each other, things will even out pretty quickly, and we'll see the cream will rise to the top type of thing, and we'll see who the best teams are. But I'm really excited for the matchups this upcoming week. St. Thomas and then Omaha. Can't take either of those teams lightly. St. Thomas, potential for a trap game there, looking ahead to Omaha on Saturday. So those are always a few things that we worry about. But get out and support the Yotes. I mean, if we only have 300 or 400 people there, that would just be so disappointing.
Yeah, that's not happening.
I can't imagine that would happen. Usually a great environment. Get out there, get your tickets. Get the tickets as low down as you can so you don't have to elbow Mark out of the way at the end of the game to give the young ladies high fives.
Be appreciated. Yes.
Yeah. Buy those tickets right down by the court and be ready to watch and cheer on the Yotes. Anything else to say here, Mark? I mean, we can mention a few more names if we need to. I had some Avery Van Hook actually got the setter, ended up with the a conference award last week before the matchup. I think she was the co-offensive player of the week.
And I think the Summit League tweeted her highlights of this week out. So she's in, I would think that means she might win it again.
Yeah.
She's playing really well, just solid, like a lot of them are.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily mention their names when you're talking about highlights, but just steady as can be.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at these, Oral Roberts kill percentages right now. Morgan Bodie, freshman, 571. Audrey Nelson, freshman, 438. And then you had Cheyenne Halady at 353. You had Amanda Lotion, 333. I mean, just spectacular percentages up there. These ladies are just playing great volleyball right now. And I think that's what the non-conference season has kind of set them up for.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what makes this team different maybe than previous teams is we're way, way deeper. Like we can go into our bench.
Right.
And not really miss a beat. And she's done that a few times over the course of the preseason and into conference here. So yeah.
I still can't call it the preseason. I'll call it the non-conference season. But yeah.
Every time I see volleyball and like non-conference, I think preseason now. So shout out Leanne, friend of the show.
Yeah. And then a couple of the players that come in and serve, just getting, great. Elena Wolf doing a good job there. Katie Clancy doing a great job serving so far this season. And, I heard Leanne actually mention on one of the other shows that, they're doing a good job with their serving of getting the other teams out of rhythm. And so watch for that a little bit this week. A lot of times the teams want their libero or some of those defensive specialists returning the serves. And the Yotes servers are doing a good job of trying to serve away from the people that the other team wants to pass those serves and hit the setter. And that's where a lot of those aces or those mishits really come into play.
Yeah. Yeah. They do a really good job.
All right. Well, I think that covers everything that we were going to cover this week. So next up, we're going to go ahead and go into our eye chart of the week.
And that's just what they wanted to do there. And all things considered, again, as you see the eye chart cardboard cut, how appropriate.
Through the review, the eye chart made its way to the video board. It really injected some energy.
All right. Well, this week's eye chart of the week is going to be Mark and I's picks for the moments in sports or life in general where maybe we think the other people might want to check their vision a little bit. And so Mark's famous or infamous for holding up that eye chart at games. And so we are going to give our moments in life or sports from this past week where we think maybe people need to take a second look at things.
Yeah. So a couple things about the eye chart of the week. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Chad, but I think we're going to allow you, the listeners, to nominate somebody. So it'll be myself, Chad, and Jordan when he's available for a nominee. And then you, the fans, will get a nominee as well. And we'll put that to a Twitter vote. Last week, it was kind of a runaway. Jordan won again because he nominated the NCAA, which seems like a slam dunk every time. If you nominate the NCAA, you win. So he won with 70% of the vote, and me and you, Chad, were tied with whoever the heck we nominated last week. So,
and we had like 11%, I think, was
Yeah,
it was right. Yeah, it was pretty low.
Yeah, when Jordan nominated that, you knew it was over. But so for this week, as you may or may not have heard, there was a significant, I don't know what you'd call it, a rain event, a hurricane, a named hurricane in the southeastern United States. Eastern Tennessee was scheduled to play at the Citadel, located in Charleston, South Carolina, during this storm and the aftermath of this storm. So if you're watching on YouTube now, you can see that the normal trip from Johnson City, Tennessee, which makes me think of the Wagon Wheel song, down to Charleston, South Carolina, is about 5.5 hours. Eastern Tennessee obviously ran into some weather problems and some severe weather problems to the point where they were stranded in flooded roads. And, based on some of the pictures and stories I've heard, like they were really in peril. And you just wonder why we put a football team on a bus. They ended up sleeping late Friday into Saturday morning in the parking lot of a homeless shelter somewhere along the way there, before getting to the game, hours before it was necessary to play the game. My eye check is going to go to the Citadel Athletic Department for not having some mercies, not being a human and being like, let's wait a day, let's play this Sunday or let's play this Monday, so no one's life is in danger. And maybe I'd give a little one to East Tennessee. Like, why would you even try to do that trip in those conditions? So officially it'll be the Citadel. The end of the story is Eastern Tennessee actually ended up beating the Citadel, so maybe that's a little poetic justice. But for my eye chart of the week, Citadel Athletic Department for not delaying the game and keeping 100 and some kids out of drowning.
Wow, that got really kind of sad there at the end.
And you got some sad music you can play.
I don't. I need to figure out how to do that.
It was a happy ending. They won.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Let's see what I can find here. Is that okay? Not quite. Anyways, yeah. Well, that's Mark's nominee. If you are out there on Twitter or on YouTube, and you have a nominee, go ahead and submit your nominees in the comments. We'll go ahead and put a few of those on the screen as well. But I'm going to give my eye chart of the week. And this one, watching a little bit of volleyball over the, Thursday, Saturday time frame, I noticed that volleyball play-by-play announcers are really struggling to see what's happening on the court. And it's almost embarrassing at times. There were several moments in Thursday night's match where the nice folks at Denver were doing the best that they could, but maybe we missed a few things and the tips and whatever else. And but the thing that got me was on Saturday down at Oral Roberts. The gentleman, I'm not going to say his name right now, but the Oral Roberts play-by-play announcer just absolutely homered the whole call. He was calling for things that didn't happen. He was the first few points of the match, I believe, he called the incorrect way. He said the point goes to Oral Roberts when the Coyotes got the point, and he said the point goes to the Coyotes when Oral Roberts got the point. He just was not seeing what was happening there. There was one point where someone from Oral Roberts hit it about 30 feet out of bounds, and he's like, "Oh, I thought I saw someone tip that. I'm sure I did. I need my own replay." Just on the struggle bus, they did show a replay. The Oral Roberts broadcast did show a replay. No one even got close to touching it. And usually when someone touches it on the court, the ladies on the court, turn to the coach and say, challenge it. And no one on the Oral Roberts side even said anything. And then, the second set, it was like 24-8, I think, near the end of the set. And Oral Roberts was out of rotation, and they called him out of rotation. So essentially giving the Coyotes a set. And the guy, poor Jeff, he just went ballistic, and I think he gave a call that was just absolutely ridiculous out there. So play-by-play guys for volleyball are going to get my eye chart of the week.
I would say for the Oral Roberts guy, and you're right, but it was a kind of unique situation there, not for the obvious, out of bounds and rotation call, which was hilarious. But both teams were wearing white, which is, I think, maybe the first time I've seen that. Yeah.
I think I did text you that during the match. But yeah, I don't know what happened, if
Like he even screwed up who was on the left side of your screen and who was on the right side of your screen because you're sitting there, you think you would figure that out, but
right. And I wonder what the deal is with that. So obviously, usually the home team wears one color and the visiting team wears another one. But I don't know if when you go on those long road trips, you take both the sets of uniforms, or I don't know what happened there. Maybe someone from the volleyball team is watching and can chime in.
Almost certainly someone is. Almost certainly.
Yeah, we have 4 viewers right now, 4 confirmed viewers. So I'm sure that one of them is on the volleyball team or one of the coaches. But if you guys out there have any nominees for iChart of the Week, go ahead and add those to us on Twitter. Once again, you can add us on Twitter. That means tweet at us by going to our handles at HowlWithUs3, or you can go to our individual Twitter accounts and at those accounts to be included in this week's poll. Well, Mark, that pretty much covers everything that we had for the show. I noticed there's also some golf coming up this week, some men's golf, so we might have a little bit of recap of that coming up next week. Other than that, we'll keep an eye out for anything else happening. But anything else you want to add before we sign off for the night, Mark?
No, you mentioned golf. Two holes in one for the men's team there on back-to-back days, which was pretty impressive. You don't see that every day.
Do they have to buy a round of beers in college? I don't know how that works.
I don't know. Tell me if they do. I need to know which bar and what time.
Well, it's usually at the clubhouse after the round.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't know where that's at.
Okay. So yeah, we'll try to get a few more updates like that in the show next week, but we'll wait and see. We'll find out. All right. Well, for Mark Wentz, for Jordan Decker, who was unable to join us tonight, I'm Chad Berger. Thank you all for tuning in, and until next time, go Yotes.